What's up, my people? Welcome. My name is Justin Groth, and this is Straight from the Chest. Guys, for the uninitiated, this is a personal development podcast that I insist on bringing you authentic and just real, integral expressions from me that hopefully guide you in your own personal journey. And to be honest, that's the only motive and the only incentive is the reason why I even do this podcast. And so if you can gain if you can gain any kind of anything off of that, I'm doing my job. Guys, again, if you're new, welcome. If you've been with me for a long period of time, I appreciate the listening ear, and it just means a lot to me, guys. There's really no reason why I do this other than because I want to, I just want to share with you guys. I want to be able to express the way I feel about certain topics, and I want to just be able to hopefully share some things that maybe resonate and cause a shift or a change in direction for you. And today I went to Starbucks and I'm gonna totally change direction. But normally I like coffee bean, guys. I'm a big coffee drinker, but I should say I'm not really a big coffee drinker anymore. I used to be, but I used to always go to Coffee Bean, and I just didn't want to go travel all that way. It's like kind of far away from my house now at this point, and I don't like to really go anywhere. So I went to Starbucks right by my house, and it was the funniest thing, man, because I get in line and we're in drive-through, and I get to the front, and the guy asks me, hey, how you doing? What can I get for you? And just out of pattern reaction, I say to him, hey, what's up, man? How are you? And then I wait. And then he seemed kind of awestruck by what I said. And it only led me to believe, because when I said it, he said, oh, I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. And he said it pretty much just like that. I'm not a good actor, but if I was to act it out, I just did. But that's how he sounded, like he was taken off guard. And then it made me think for a second, why are you acting that way? Why would you respond that way? And it's only because when you get in line and you're getting to Starbucks, you're getting to anything, you get in the front of the line, you just have your eyes set on one thing. You want to get your food, you want to get your drink, and that's it. And you really don't have, most people, I'm not saying all, most people don't have a regard for who's on the other end of the microphone. And this guy clearly was taken back by what I said, which that shouldn't be the case when it's just a human interacting with another human. And he said that, and let me give you the rest of the conversation. I told him what I wanted, and then he said, all right, my man, he said, all right, my guy. He called me my guy. And he was just very genuine with his expressions. And he was like trying to make small talk with me. He asked me my name. Obviously, they all do that. But when I said my name, I said Justin, and he said, like Timberlake? And I said, yes, like Timberlake, but not Timberlake. And we started laughing. And then he's, all right, my guy. He said it again. Your total is blah, blah, blah at the window. I said, thanks, man. And that was that conversation. There's nothing else to it. But what I'm trying to advocate here is, or what I'm trying to display is the fact that he clearly doesn't get much of that. Because people, when they get to the window, they just gimme this, gimme that. And rightfully so, that's why they're there. But you should never take out of the situation the fact that you're dealing with another human. You're not dealing with a robot. Why wouldn't you act accordingly like a human and develop some type of rapport? I'm not saying have a full-blown conversation, but maybe ask the guy or the girl how their day's going too. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect at this, but I am saying it deserves a reflection. And people are so used to just gimme, gimme, gimme. They have intent as to getting that drink. They have an agenda. They want what they want, and they don't care about what's in their way. And I know it seems silly because it's Starbucks, but you can apply this to other things in life. You can apply it to somebody bidding a job. I mean, they want money and they're going to bid it accordingly, but that favors them. They don't care about the person that it's going towards. Unless there's some type of personal communication on the other end or relationship that they give them a break on cost or whatever. But most of the time, the agenda is just one-dimensional. And I'm trying to say that sometimes transactions are three-dimensional, or they deserve to be three-dimensional. There's more sides than just the one. But we only look at it as a one-way transaction. And let me tell you, if that's the way you predicate your life, you won't leave a legacy. Because obviously on one end, nobody's going to want to conversate with you. Nobody's going to want to really accept you or be your friend. And on the other end, you're going to be empty inside. Because there's something that goes along with the fact of communicating in a respectful way to others. Like even when your server's serving you and they're there to do a job, they're there to serve you food. But you can't look at them you should not look at them like just a server. They're a human being. I've talked about this multiple times before, but it deserves exhaustion. It deserves to belabor the point. The fact that you are interacting with another human being and you could very well be in their position tomorrow. Don't forget that. And I'm not undercutting what they do, but I am saying reflect on the way that you treat human beings. Because it's a direct reflection of who you are. And you've heard that time and time over again, but apply it. Because it's easy to talk about it. It's easy to render the point, but it's a different story to apply it to your life. That takes a true person of integrity. And I was blown away by the way that the guy reacted when I said what I said. I just was like, but it made me kind of feel bad for that situation, or not for him directly, but for people in his position. Because that's probably what happens all the time. It's gimme, gimme, gimme. And I started thinking about it, and it's the same thing with media. Gimme likes, gimme comments, gimme followers. Okay, let's do all that. Now for what? What is the point now? What are you gaining from all these likes, all these comments, all these followers, other than a selfish agenda in place to fill your own ego? What is the point? And I can sympathize with you guys. I get it. Look, I'm not even on the end of 100, 200, a million plus followers. I don't even know what that looks like. When I say 100, I mean 100,000, 200,000, a million followers. I don't even know what that looks like, guys. I can't even fathom the kind of DM list that you're getting every day. I can't even fathom the kinds of comments you're getting. And you may say, well, Justin, it's not just all good comments. There's some bad comments in there too that can put you down and all that. I understand that. I'm sure that's the case. But in most times, there's people that are in that position. They know how to block out haters, and they see your bad comment and they just block you right away. So now you're done. And for every 10 good comments, I would say for every 20 good comments, there's maybe one questionable or bad comment. And in that case, you just block them. And it's easily done away with. But you gotta reflect on that. What's the point? I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. If Instagram were to take out comments, likes, followers, all that shit, and just had you post what you wanted to post, guarantee you that entire model would look different. People wouldn't be, what I mean by that is people wouldn't be wanting to post. People wouldn't be wanting to be on Instagram. What's the incentive? There is no incentive. What's the motive? There's no motive now. Unless you're running a business, what's the motive? What is the motive to post the ridiculous, audacious pictures that you post? What's the motive at that point? When you're not going to see, when you're not going to get instant gratification, when you're not going to get that dopamine hit that you're looking for with the comments or the likes, how many likes you get or how many followers you get from a post, what's the point? Humans have to predicate everything they do on an intent, on an agenda. Now, that agenda could look very malicious and malevolent. It could also look very authentic and pure and integral. Most of the time though, most of the time, people are in it for the wrong resources. And that's what I have a problem with. And that's why I predicate in the beginning of this podcast the things that I am standing for. I don't care right now. I don't really care ever. Although I don't believe it's going to be for forever, but I don't care ever. I don't care right now that I don't really have a large platform. I mean, it would be great to have it, but just because I don't doesn't mean it's going to stop me from doing it, because the thing that makes me do this in the beginning is authentic and pure justification with regards to what I want to bring out. That's it. It has nothing to do with the lucrative income. It has nothing to do with the sponsor. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with my pursuit of a sponsor or lucrative income. And for that reason, I'm a fucking weapon. You understand that? And for that reason, you could be a fucking weapon. But your constructs are too associated and too distorted by the fact of you wanting to have an ill agenda or a malevolent agenda in place, and in concert, all these achievements that you do get, they're empty at the end of the day. So what if you gain 100,000 followers? So what if you gain 200,000 followers? So what if you get a sponsorship? So what if it's not your fucking passion? What's the point? There is none in my book. There is none. You may be in a season right now where you're just functioning, or you're building. And if this is something that is in your gut's eye that you cannot actually see manifest yet, but you know if you keep working and you keep putting in the man hours and you keep processing and thinking about it, you know it's going to come. It's just a matter of time before that door opens. But if you're just doing things for the instant gratification that's associated with it, I can't stand behind you. And I think that you should also question why you're doing it. I think you should question your intent. I think you should question your agenda. But most of you won't. You know why? Because the gratification is far more rewarding than any kind of integral battle that you'll end up invoking in. That's inevitable when you start to realize that you're doing what you're doing for empty reasons. Let me tell you this too. If your purpose is, if you think you can justify your purpose by what you're doing, and it's just centered around the pursuit of raising your standard or raising your ego or your bravado, I can promise you that's not your purpose. Because purpose is directly oriented with what God has aligned for you and downloaded within you in your life to extract. And it could be many purposes, but I can assure you that God is not going to give you something that just predicates you, and that's it. There's got to be a selfless attachment to it as well. And there's nothing selfless about being glued to your phone, and there's nothing selfless about being glued to your phone, taking pictures and posting pictures and putting stupid ass captions under them, like as if you're presenting something meaningful to the public, when really all you want the people to do is look at me. That's really what it is. Just call it for what it is. Just say, hey, look, man, I look really good right now. I want you to see how the fuck I look. How about this? How about for those posts, how about you take stories of the times that you're getting in a fight with your significant other? How about when he's calling you obscenities? How about you take a story of that? How about when you're calling him obscenities or her obscenities? You take a story of that. You won't do it because you only want to see people. You don't want people to see the stuff that you want them to praise you on. And that's another human flaw. We search for praise. We search for, it's a form of acceptance. So your praise can come in the form of a pure genuine expression based on what you're putting out, or it can come in the form of a selfish, self-predicating regard from the other person because you only put out what you want them to see. And what you want them to see is only the good stuff. I'm not saying that I haven't had my moments. I have had my moments of self-indulgent pictures. And let me tell you, the agenda behind those is to get praise. Because I know that picture is going to be worthy of praise. So I'm searching for it. And I'm not proud of it. And I feel like, well, everybody else is doing it, so why not? And I'm going against what I'm saying right now because this is why not. The why not is everything I just mentioned. It's empty. And if you're going to be instilling a legacy, if you're going to be embarking on your path and it's of substance, then you better make sure that every footprint in front of the other has a concrete meaning behind it. And it better be pure and it better be authentic. Otherwise, it's going to be empty in the long run. I just don't understand. And I'll never understand. Because most of the time, these kinds of actions are predicated off of narcissists. And that's a personality deficiency. I don't, what I'm saying is, I could belabor the point, I could exhaust it further. But honestly, I know you know where I'm coming from. I know you get me. I know you understand. And if you don't, you should have stopped listening a long ass time. I'm just not your person then. And maybe if you shut me off too already, you're probably convicted too. And that's okay. Because if there's one thing that I'll continuously do and I'll continuously bring you, it's continuity with what I believe in. And my voice is not going to be well taken by everybody. And the things that I process and the way that I process things, or the way that I think about certain particular ideologies, notions, etc., whatever, I don't think they're going to be accepted by the masses, but that's not my concern. My concern is delivering what's real to me and what I see that's real. And I don't think that deserves a real ticket. I don't think that when you do those things, when you actively facilitate for the meaning of gloat and bravado, that is something that you should predicate your purpose on, or you should consistently go with in life, so you have a reputation, or you find meaning or belonging. That's empty belonging. Because at the end of the day, what are you providing to me? What are you giving me? If I'm looking, what are you giving me? There's no substance. There's no curated substance of meaning behind an empty picture, behind an empty story, it's only prevalent of an empty life. It's only prevalent of an insecure and meaningless life. But you're just gimme. Give me comments, give me likes. Okay, then what? You're still empty. Then what? There's got to be more behind the rhythm. Or else it's just a selfish act. And I promise you, your entire journey, your entire legacy is not predicated on just you being selfish and things that are self-induced. Or just established for your own selfish gloat. There's got to be the reciprocation of others in there. And it all starts with you asking people, how are you back caring about the other person? And that translates into everything in life. Every transaction that you go through or will go through in life is all predicated on your ability to establish rapport and make the other person encouraged. You know what encouragement does? Just a little encouragement. A little encouragement goes a long way. And I forget it, and I think you do too. But just a little encouragement. Maybe my how are you doing back was encouragement to the guy. Because he felt, oh, someone actually gives a shit. Maybe not. But I find it hard to believe that it wasn't, because the way that his tone lit up after I said it. It's crazy. Don't ever undermine somebody that's asking you what your order is. And don't ever take for face value somebody on social media that chooses to post things as an attempt to be meaningful, when you can see right through it and see that really it's just a gimme act. You know, the same thing that you do when you don't ask the other person, how are you, when you go to Starbucks or you go to your favorite restaurant. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme likes, gimme the food, gimme comments, gimme, okay, then what? At the end of the day, if you want to feel centered and established and rooted in who you are as a human being and what you're doing, what you're actually manifesting in the process, then you better care about each and every conversation you have with people. You better care about how you treat them, and you better care about what you're putting out, and you better care about what you're standing for. You need to care about what you're standing for. You need to stand for something. Stand for something. That's the best thing you can do in your life. Done.